I'm trying to remember off the top of my head things I know Moose does. Do they? What bandages do they run? I don't remember. I guess we'll find out. I want to say beat extend, but I could be wrong. Maybe if you want to talk about identifying weaknesses and adapting, round start is one of the main things to be looking at, and that is not a good round start. Oh, what?
That was a bet.
I'm sorry. What the heck just happened? Accidentally hit a button and stuff just exploded. Yeah. Not a great round start. Same side mid. Never good, even if you were hoping to dash up there. Good conversion. Your combo scaled immediately. That's not mixed. We dropped that. Okay.
With the DP, just do it.
Oh, you didn't have bar, you couldn't have killed, never mind. Yes, it was press. Not very tight mix. Man, just wasn't. Yeah, you will get jabbed there. Why?
Keep it simple, stupid.
A weird ender. But you're on skirt, and then neutral was a good bit of scramble.
A whole bunch of DPs.
Yeah, well, we'll see how this develops, because that was a lot of mess, and I don't want to pick apart the first game, so. Again, dash forward doing something versus Beowulf is... So,
you really want to gamble on getting Bale band started?
Yeah, so if you're gonna press a same side mid, jab. Just straight up jabs round start beats hop dash stuff, it beats some of the slower reaching normals, but it does lose to DP. So that's kind of the coin flip you're going with there. There's almost never a world where a Beowulf does nothing for round start, just by nature of the tools the character has. So you can't approach it like you would some other characters. So I wouldn't recommend any of these really aggressive round starts dashing forward, trying to catch them low or high. Because oftentimes they're going to be pressing a button that's going to come out faster. Not to mention the amount of Beowulfs that literally just do round start DP plus assist. So if you think they're going to dash hop, jab's not a bad option. Otherwise, I would recommend any of your retreating options. Backdash plus assist, up back plus assist. Like, get away from him. Because taking a... It's not even a coin flip. Taking a gamble that's weighted against you by being the aggressor at round start, it's just not a smart choice, especially versus such a momentum-based team. Yeah, and so I would only recommend doing this once you've got like a lot of games between this person and you know an aggressive round start is worth the risk, which versus all the Beowulf players I usually play against, it's usually not. And so now you have to deal with this. That was weird. Okay. Going to mix. Keeping the corner. We drop.
They did not suck.
And you are very trigger happy on the pillars. Walk up slowly. Get mashed on. So this Beowulf is is actually being really patient, and you can't do that versus band. Not mashing on you. A lot of your pressure is pretty unsafe, which I get is also kind of inherently how parents quickly work, but it's a thing to think about when you're choosing your options. So you have charge, and we're jumping into A-Train. Squiggly can play a grounded game, especially versus band. Oh, okay, interesting.
You're recruiting fears.
Yeah,
Because when this happens,
yeah, wait,
you could just,
both.
yeah, you could just,
Don't worry about it. But yeah, oh, drop.
what?
Chip. But yeah, so I'll address it after this game. Once you have that SBO out, I know you're kind of afraid of Giant Step, but if you're afraid and feel it in their bones, they're gonna Giant Step. You can neutral jump up, back, or up forward and H toss, and then resume zoning. When you have SBO out on the field, I would not recommend trying to force it to hit, because it's almost never going to hit, and you just gave up all that space towards band. And while yes, I myself am definitely a purveyor of being aggressive with soul, I feel like it only works if it's not just a monotone aggressive soul. Because once they know they don't have to deal with any form of the parasol shenanigans that force them to approach in a really annoying way, they can just be patient, let you run at them, and then check you, because a lot of your approach options aren't the greatest for being safe. And then we saw what happened. You called an assist and got happy birthday. So definitely think about zoning a little bit more, because oftentimes you've been teching forwards and then raw pillar, that sort of stuff. So think about creating space and slowing down the game so you can then change the pace and speed it up again. Yeah, that's a lot better already. It's a knowledge tech. I wouldn't necessarily suggest going for that.
and there's the wall.
Good job. Oh no, why are we mixing here? That should have been a dead Beowulf. And we are up-backing a lot. It's working out for now, but we'll see if they adapt to it.
I'm willing to bet that was a messed up pillar.
Drop.
Got hit.
Copy DC'd. And we're out of the corner. Yeah, now we're starting to get matched on a lot a bit more. Man mirror. Group. That's cute.
If you resuscitate, oh, it's gonna have to now.
Are you sure? I'm pretty sure this is dead with Rishi. Oh. Oh, wow, that was actually...
Never mind, he's fucking godlike.
That was actually really good done to see. What the hell?
That was amazing. I'm stealing.
But yeah. Definitely one thing I'm noticing, and this is only 3 games, so it might change throughout the course of the set, but initial thoughts are, you're not a very patient player. and that if you're also unable to adapt well, again, another aggressive round start. I don't really recommend this. Maybe if you immediately called brass behind you, which I don't think you've been doing. Yeah, you haven't. But even then, get caught up backing now. I think I was supposed to be a pillar, but still. Well, no, it was a super jump. It couldn't have been pillar. Pillar again. IPS. Like yeah, so you know what to do. You just didn't do it versus the Beowulf. Or versus the Beowulf that time, which is really weird. Okay.
Be a lot higher than that.
And then, yeah, I mean, that's
on the
squiggly.
ground.
Can't really say anything about that. Squiggly doesn't have great resets for Bandit here, though. It's kind of just how the matchup goes. And so, one thing I will say, you have basically gone high almost every time, but they haven't blocked it, so you haven't really needed to change anything. But I don't know if that's an autopilot or a conscious recognition of that. That's a good way to fight yourself out of that, and yeah, hopefully.
The funny super.
So yeah, we've talked mainly about round start. The zoning, I mean, yeah, the changing speeds has been a lot better. Again, another aggressive round start where you lose. If you're asking about adaptability, you need to recognize when a game plan isn't working, and it's not been working here. Yeah, knowledge check, and reaction check.
You sleep at the wheel.
Although I do recommend working and recognizing that, because that is one of the most common drops you'll ever see, and it's a free heavy counter hit. You literally had time to see the animation before you pressed another button. What were you doing? You can punish that. No, you knew. Just too late. What is this? I guess it works. I don't know why you'd use M shot there over L shot ever. It's a good pillar. Yeah, you can't. Oh. Heavy counter hit that, please, by the way. Yeah.
And then you get parried.
That's not gonna kill. Oh my god, you just went for A-Train. I really hope that was just a messed up. Whatever it's called. E-break. I'm a little out of it.
A little? Nah, you've been doing a good job.
We've been vibing. Hey, what's your round start?
Aggressive.
You know what? I'll take that. That's not bad. I can't remember if it loses to Bayo Hop Dash light button, but it's not a bad option. It stifles his approach. Pillar, does nothing. You have been caught a lot by this sweep. And if you're asking about adaptation, you need to start recognizing this is happening. Okay, that's just getting called out. That's really fun. Okay, so options.
I think he's also starting to call out the fact that you just want to jump a lot.
Yeah, I mean that was kind of that was the first jump light punch, like a dash jump light punch in a while, so it's whatever. But yeah, definitely dash up low is really strong for Parasol. It has so much range, man. Um,
Tell me about it.
and I would. It's just the person who low parries me doing it consistently.
I low parry you like 2 times a set. Shush.
um, where was I going with this? Jump light punch, jump heavy punch is a good tool. I would say start trying to actively think about other options, because while it's good in moderation, the more you use it, the worse it gets, because it is consistently punishable. So the more people expect it, the more they're ready for it, the more likely they'll punish you for it. And sometimes versus better players, they just know and will blow you up every single time for it. So it's just a thing to think about, starting to get out of your like neutral vocabulary, if you will. And yeah, she's dead. It's A-Train. We are jumping into this A-Train a lot. Going back to adapting, being used to playing your characters grounded, like even just practicing it versus people who don't have A-Train, is a pretty good habit, because the second you play against A-Train, some people literally just explode, which is kind of what's happening to you here. Because in theory, it's a completely useless assist, but if it takes away your entire muscle memory for neutral, you kind of just start eating. Wait, you could have converted. That's really weird.
It's kind of dangerous.
Yep, you got jabbed for going high again, so I want to see a low next time, because now they've kind of shown they addressed it. Ban neutral, it's kind of whatever. Symbol will get the hit. Yeah. He's now jabbed you out of your Parasol 4 heavy kick and Squiggly 6 heavy punch. That's a thing to be looking out for. Also, why is this an approach option you've been using regularly? It's not like it's awful, but it's not great either. What rewards do you get off of this? Because you, one, can easily get DP'd. It's much better. I'll give you this. It's much better if he doesn't have his chair on him, because this goes through his armor. But this as an option is just really weird, because you've always done it for, they block one hit, you toss, and then you press a button on the way down. And that is not safe. Bayo Pillar wins there. The second they see you tossing a tier, they can press a button. Letting it rock all the way is never bad, because if they push block it wrong, you just get a 3 low throw afterwards. Yeah. It's really weird pressure for me. Pressing a button, falling down. Dash up low. Nice. That's what I've been asking for. That really just happened.
Rude.
I feel like you could have converted off that press and killed him with this PO.
He could have killed you if you just lane canceled that brass.
Okay, I know it's... Oh wait, no, you didn't push block it. That was just brass being weird. Oh, unfortunate. Wrong SP. But it works. Oh man. I don't think you needed to reset there. I can't tell if that was an intentional reset or a drop, but literally just SSJ. DHC into SSJ and they're dead to chip. Yeah. Another thing to be thinking about. But yeah, so, in talking about, like, adapting in your pressure, what's kind of been going on so far? One, your round starts have almost always been violence, and when they have, you've been losing. So I hope to see a little bit less of that, because you did crouching medium punch once. I think that was it. And then you had one round start you won because he pressed a button too late. The round start dash jump jump light punch, which is really weird. In regards to adapting, the games have been a lot of scramble, and I mean your playstyle kind of forces that, and Bayo Band also kind of forces that. I've actually been seeing a lot less pillars now that I think about it, so you have been mixing it up, and that is a really good thing to get in the habit of. You've started going for a little bit more lows. I would like to see slightly more of them, but we're just kind of reaching that point where they've shown they can address it, so it's whatever. The one thing you have really been struggling to adapt to is not jumping into A-Train. That's kind of a big problem. And so, I know it's really hard, especially because for Squiggly, especially, a lot of people are really used to abusing her air buttons, but her grounded buttons aren't awful. 2 medium kick is one of the best lows in the game. That thing reaches so far, so quickly. So next time you're playing against A-Train, try and keep that in the forefront of your mind, just working on exploring other options than up forward jump light kick. Because that's kind of getting you exploded. Empty hop is alright. Again with the jump heavy kick stuff. Because that's kind of just a knowledge check, and once they figure it out, you're literally going to explode. Duck out of the corner. I can't tell if that was supposed to be a pillar, but you're dead anyway. It's a bit much to be pillaring right there. Stand medium kick. I really hope that was supposed to be a crouch medium kick. Interesting. Down back call assist. Jumps into. Well, yeah, it's not assist this time. Good DP. We opt to not convert, which is kind of strange. Got our charge back. Wait, did he just really just raw stand heavy punch? Okay. That was a good reaction.
Burst bait.
Overhead. Throw. But yeah, these are all scaled a lot. There we go. These aren't the greatest combos. You at least recognized earlier you had the heavy counter hit when you were doing it, which is why you were doing it, but I would recommend learning a heavy counter hit route. Or at least know... Actually, I can't remember if any of her airstrings are efficient. I think they're efficient for the enders, but that's whatever. Shouldn't talk about things I'm not...
Like to believe her, whatchamacallits. Her airstrings are good for whenever your combo's already scaled the crap.
B again. Or, that's the wrong button, sorry. You chose violence for round start and got hit. Just got lucky that it didn't convert. Get away. Yep. My guy is really good in this matchup, especially when they're really happy on the sweep. Nice. Oh, we're not blocking. That's awkward. Snap, I agree. Drop, don't agree. You can have converted off of that. Good blocks though. Wait, what? Why?
I'm just gonna assume he forgot taunt was a thing and didn't notice.
What? Oh no.
He almost did a single hit SSJ.
We're not gonna talk about it, we're just moving on. We both know what happened here. What's your own start? You refuse to do anything different, and it's weird. So, okay. Let's just talk about it. What options for the round start does that beat? Why are you doing that?
When is it 1?
When does this work? Because Hop Dash whiffs you but recovers before the jumping heavy punch comes out. DP you just lose. Maybe if they go for sweep round start, but even then I think they recover fast enough because you're too high. Just why? Yeah. Okay, how did you end up actually getting hit? Sorry. Sweep, tech into him, and just not block. Might have been trying to pillar, not sure. Yeah, that jumps fair. I would do the same thing. What?
Funny reset.
Nice. So you do know how to play. Good. Can't kill. Go for a reset again. Oh, too late this time. Right in. Oh my god. No. Punish. Oh my god, no.
Yeah.
It's like, what is this? Yeah, you're just trying to catch him. Just questionable choices. Get hit. Oh, it's whatever. Problem.
That's what I would say.
Oh.
And that's what I would say.
Wait, you could have. Oh no, you had taunt. You lose.
I think they tried to parry.
Oh, fair, yeah. My monkey brain just went second SSJ wins. But not if one has taunt. Okay. Again. Yeah, round start. Question marks. Just throw yourself into getting hit. You're starting these games at disadvantage because of your round starts. I really want to nail that point home. You had a heavy counter hit. You had extra indices to work with before you reset. That wasn't a punish. You punished him pressing the button on the way down. No pillar, unfortunate. So, if we want to talk about pressure, I saw this a little bit with Squiggly. If you're forcing them to block brass, don't hit them with another same side mid. Try and go high-low afterwards. Yes, people can absolute guard it. Once they start doing that, then you can just time your stuff after the absolute guard. But if you're talking about pressure, that is literally just a waste of an assist. Because you're not even getting chip damage by doing that. You're literally just saying, here's a free block and push block me out. Oh, he's trying to catch you jumping again. And you keep doing it. Raw tag? Yep. You're getting kind of predictable on that front, and he knew. It's the second time you've seen that and you haven't tagged it. That's going to be the most common option after gold bursts. Get used to it. Because you're just going to cash it out. Looks like it.
Not to.
Unfortunate. Can Ban not punish that?
That was his max range. It would be kind of awkward, I think.
Okay, yeah. I know it's hard. That was a genuine question.
I mean, if you really just want to take any punish, I'm pretty sure L-Step would catch it. I think. Or beat extend? Oh,
yeah, well.
It's not big of a deal.
And we got caught again. Yeah. So, I've seen you do it. And I dropped, but it didn't matter. I've seen you do it a couple times. But not enough. One thing that's really good, especially if you're a Parasol who uses a lot of dash jump, jump light punch, jump heavy punch. Dash jump empty hop. Especially versus people like Band, who have so many different ways of answering your jump light punch, because yes, they can chicken block it, but oftentimes they'll parry you, they will DP you, they will SSJ you. And especially if it's like the second or third time in a row. So you like dash jump, jump light punch, jump heavy punch, get push block out, do it again, and then do the empty hop, and they're like, okay, I'm gonna answer it this time, and they DP, and then you just block it and they explode. It's something I have been using a lot more as Parasol, because I also am trying to get jump light punch, jump heavy punch out of my repertoire. It's a really good tool, especially versus mash heavy characters, and I would recommend doing it a little bit more. Because in the heat of the moment, they're going, there's no way in hell this Parasol does anything different. And then you explode them. It works against bands of all levels. I do it to Dry all the time. I did it to JC. I've done it to Cat Pie. Like,
it'll hit him.
Empty hop is really good. And then afterwards, if they're too afraid to press anything, you have a variable timing jumping light punch that they can't parry consistently unless they're like gods. And that was just you being afraid. Actually, your run start was just... Oh.
Alright, that was pretty conservative, and then they got counter hit doing something.
This run start's too slow to cover a lot of the things Bale would be doing. But I do appreciate you pressed a button to zone out space and call an assist. It's the right idea, just... in this matchup, not great, because their buttons reach there faster. Nice.
Alright, kill. Take him to the moon? Aww.
No. Taking him to the moon takes so long because it never uncombos.
I know, but it's funny.
Literally be a Beowulf with 5 meter.
Who cares?
Yeah,
it's solo bail. Just zone.
But one thing I will say, literally just do crouch light punch, crouch heavy punch, jump heavy punch. The middle stuff just takes extra time and gives them more meter. At least as far as I remember, it's a worse happy birthday. Could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. Okay, actually, yeah. What happened in the corner? Get push block in, assist gets stuffed. got caught up back jump light punch, or jump light kick, sorry. Wrong character. And that is like your go-to panic option. This Beowulf hasn't been doing it a lot, although they have been catching you in other ways. If you play versus someone like JP, he's literally gonna up forward air throw you consistently every time. I know because he does it to me. Start trying to have other panic options, or other comfort options, because they're good buttons, but they're just like a lot of things in this game. They're easily abusable if people know what's coming.
Quick tip: if you're gonna Tempany on incoming, don't let them drop to the ground while you're still beating out Tempany.
That too.
Because then they could just kill you for free. At least make them try to push block or try to fuck up the push block.
Or do the other thing. Some bands will, if they know you're gonna be on the ground, they will stay on you and then leave during the timing where a PBGC would give them the window to punish you and then come back and force you to block. Because that's really annoying to punish, and some characters can't do it nicely. Just another thing to be thinking about.
Have they tried the zone, like, with Brass and Tears yet?
So
commit to it?
They have not committed to it, which I'm not gonna say.
Like, I know it's not the be-all end-all answer, I'm just saying, like, after losing round start, like, 5 times, I'd probably just, like, alright, I'm just gonna go over here.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Like, round start, definitely get away from the Beowulf. And that they have been showing they're willing to zone. And then they seem to play Parasol like I do, where they'll zone for a bit, so you get close, and then just decide to flick a switch and turn violent. Which I'm perfectly fine with. It's a normal game plan for Parasol. But you're not setting yourself up to force them to approach you. You're giving them the first hit every single game. Just about.
And scrambling with a Beowulf.
That's not that bad.
I wouldn't risk it.
I mean, that's how I play, but then again, I also play like a lunatic. That's not how you convert off that, you know this. And you tried to PBC, press a button, and just got exploded. Tech into the corner. I disagree. What in the world was that route? Good block. Heavy counter hit. Nice. That's not a route. You could have punished that. You didn't need to flip for that one. Yeah, so Moose definitely will zone.
Yeah,
Wait for them to get in this range.
Yeah, like what the fuck's he gonna do there? No meter? Just dies. And then this band comes in and becomes a god.
But I mean, again, so, I mean, if we want to talk about this, you've always pressed a button at landing. You're gonna get parried. Especially because of how generous the window is. This goes again back to, oh, you burst. The jump heavy punch, toss, press a button stuff, that's also gonna get parried. Try and delay when you're, or not delay, but vary when you're pressing your buttons landing on people, because, this is gonna start happening a lot more. As well as, landing on, oh, you went for the taunt, you're really gonna go for it. You deserve to die, yeah. What in the world was that?
You can assume rollback.
Thanks, I hate it. Okay, you don't burst this time, which is good. Good push block. That's not something you press at that range, my friend. Good punish.
Kill. Would have opted for a little bit of a combo, but you still got this pickup.
Yeah, I hate the fact you get a full combo after level 5 man. Why is that the optimal starter?
Because Ban has to have millions of ways to rob the game.
But yeah, what was I trying to say? Brain, please. It's gone. Thank you, Brain. Oh yeah, alongside delaying when you're pressing the button, they're varying when you're pressing the button landing on them. Also land on people with air throw. Chicken blocking is rampant in this game, and you will catch people. As well as you will also catch people like myself who see an animation and try and push block something, backdash, explode, because you land and press a button and catch them backdashing. And you haven't really been landing with air throw much. Granted, they haven't been up-backing all that much, but it's a thing to consider. It's not like an end-all be-all, just another option. I can also mess with bands trying to look for anything to parry. Oh, backdash call assist, thank you. Beautiful round start. And now look at the position it set you up.
Yeah, look how much green bar you had.
Yeah, just getting mashed on. Would possibly recommend learning how to set up, like, spacing for mid-screen, just jab burst bait stuff, but it's not the most important. Just recognize that you've been getting mashed on a lot for those command normal. That's like one of the only places where band raw tag is easily blockable. If you had time to recover and hold back, just a thing to think about. And you had the meter to DHC into SBO. Contest the anti, or contest the air, yeah. Good block. Wait, what? You were in free block.
Rollback. I'm just assuming rollback.
Oh no, that could have been so bad. Good tech. Jab.
Questionable.
I would say questionable, but at the same time, I understand. I think I would have literally done the exact same thing. So I'm not gonna harp on it. Oh my god, you're brave. And we drop. No. I think you're dead. Or we do a god-awful route. What was that one?
This guy...
You have clarinet loops. Why did you opt for that? I don't know.
I don't know. I'm just gonna assume he like learned the good wiki combos. Cause like I thought it was like a really good band for a hot second. Now he's just kind of scrambly. I don't know. He's like he's breaking my ankles with this stuff somehow.
But yeah, yeah, I mean, you were really brave for a lot of that. The jab, the parasol jab that got you hit, but then you just calling out the e-break in your face. So, I mean, not gonna say don't do that.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, to be fair, how many bands just let a brass rip?
I mean, he has let A-trains rip there, because you are A-jump people.
Well, if it's an A-train, you ain't got nothing to worry about. He's jabbing.
But, no, yeah, it was good awareness to press a button there. Or at least a calculated risk, so to speak.
I'm being summoned, I'll be right back.
Okay.
Don't wait for me.
Yeah. But yeah, and definitely start recognizing he's been mashing almost all of your command normal mixes as parasol, and he's kind of getting there with Squiggly. Squiggly's a little bit less because you don't do it as often. But he was mashing when you were doing block string, stanceling, and then going high-low in his face. So I would strongly recommend adding more burst baits into your gameplay, at least for players like this. It'll help a lot. Again, what is that round start going to accomplish? It's the same one as the first game. Get away. Good block. Not a heavy counter hit for some reason. What is this route? You know better. That's not a good route. So I know you were committing to snapping here, But again, like, he's probably mashing because of how you've been playing Parasol. Up back jump, light punch, jump heavy punch, just burst baits there and sets you up in a pretty good spot. So, a thing to think about. I'll come back around this later, but there's another point I want to talk. Get caught. Took away from the corner, yes, thank you. It's gonna take forward sweep again. Yeah, you should really expect that. You're really getting called out for not keeping your all shots safe. Calling Brask is, it's alright, but it's definitely the riskier play that one that time. Oh my god. Oh, he doesn't have a meter. Gets hit. Okay. That was a good run start. You just somehow got called out for an option you've never chosen. So, it's weird. I'm not gonna berate you for that. Taking back into the corner though, I will. Nice. You could have sniped. Oh wait, no, I'm looking at the wrong health bars. You get nothing from sniping. Hello. Again, he gets in range and he goes for the sweep consistently. Bite guy can beat that. So can just not shooting. Not shoot, wait for him to press a button, call assist.
I'm back.
Welcome back.
Any improvement?
Ish. He did like a reasonable up back, call assist, round start, and somehow got hard called out by dash, jump, air throw. And I'm just sitting here like, yeah. I've been playing the game for approaching 3 years now, but I've only been taking it seriously for a year and a half. Yeah. It's been a while. I really enjoyed my time playing the game and being in the community though. It's great. Highly recommend. Oh, I literally was talking about that. Great. Yeah, first bait kind of doesn't work, but you know, you actually call them out for bashing just during your combos. It's not great that it took you like 10, 15 games into this 19 game set to do it, but this is not real pressure. I hope you know this. What is this? What are you doing? What? You could have killed. You deserve everything that's happening to you right now.
It can happen to you.
This is what happens when you get fancy, man. Could have just killed.
He almost got you
Wait,
with that
why
parry.
did you level 3? Oh my god.
You got saved.
You almost threw that entire game. Finish your food. Yeah, online is a minefield. Can confirm. It's a trip. round start. Okay, now you're opting for a lot more conservative round starts, but then you're not pressing any buttons, which, like, I don't know. I can kind of understand because you're afraid of the sweep. Oh, you got saved that tier didn't mess up that launcher. You put yourself in the corner. He put himself in the corner. Stop putting yourself in the corner, please. What are these routes? You know better routes. Please. Why did we mix there? That was a dead character.
Like on
Also, if we're gonna commit to snapping, it doesn't really end up mattering here as much. I'd recommend snapping as early as possible if you know you want to. Having more incoming, or undizzy for incoming is always generally nicer in my opinion, as well as it's marginal amounts of health, but the earlier you snap, the less red health the secondary character gets back. And you've been going for a full undizzy combo every time you've been going for the snap. Oh no. Ban should be dead too. Good. Oh, I say good, as if I'm talking about working on the other player.
Fourth grippy.
Oh my god,
Almost
you
a
just
fifth.
mistimed it. Why? Wait, why would you invest both resources? The SBO and the level 3 covered the same. It's, yeah. That ended up working, but...
Didn't even matter if you level 3 too, the fucking level 3 would just sat on him until he was vulnerable.
Yeah, and I mean, even if he... Does level 3 have hit stop?
It does, but yeah, you would get hit initially, but like I'm pretty sure Squiggly level 3 will just sit on top of.
Well, yeah, no. What I was trying to think is any super option he chooses, can Squiggly just daisy there regardless? So you just save the meter for daisy answering things, even though I don't know. It's okay. That was it actually.
Yeah, SSJ, but I mean. Just down back. You
This
already have level 3 out.
PC. Yeah. Philia, Parasol, Valentine, Philia, Parasol, yeah.
You got 4 teams? Okay.
Yeah. I was gonna say, having a lot of teams is fun and it's nice. It's really hard to consistently keep up with all of those characters, man. I can barely keep up with one team. I've swapped to solo. Are you on the PSN Discord? Skullbats? Slash, do you have Discord? Because I would highly
Discord
recommend
is.
that server. Nice, okay, yeah. Some really good people over there, some really good resources. To end up this review, a couple things we talked about. You started actually doing this towards the end, but this should be your default. Safe round starts, especially versus Beowulf. Think about what you're doing at the start of the game, because that is the one, like, set piece of the game that will always happen. And think about why you're pressing the buttons you are, what options they cover, because it didn't really seem like that thought process was going into your round starts. Yeah. I used to speedrun Greece a while ago. We were actually talking in that server a little, like yesterday, about possibly racing again sometime soon. I love that game so much. But
Racing?
Greece. G-R-A-S. Greece, however you want to pronounce it. It's Spanish.
No clue what the fuck it is.
It's a very beautiful game. It's a puzzle platformer, but it's mainly just an art project.
Puzzles? I'm bad at puzzles.
They're not hard puzzles at all.
You overestimate how smart I am.
They're literally... it doesn't matter. Back to review. In regards to... you're adapting... Your consistency was alright. Like, you ask about consistency help, but you weren't really dropping all that often. I will say some of your routing sucked ass. I noticed it mainly for Parasol, but for Squiggly, the Stancil combos aren't, like the pure Stancil combos aren't necessarily where it's at. And I didn't notice too much from bands. I don't know if you saw anything different. I think I just kind of stopped paying attention for band combos, because that was almost always the game was over one way or the other, regardless of what routes you chose. Which one is saying a good thing, because you put up a fight to the point where once they got you to your anchor, it was a one-touch game. But yeah, yada yada yada. Possibly think about routing a little bit more. No, I unfortunately do not have consoles. Like, I know I'll never touch them, so I refuse to spend money on them. But yeah, the combos, and then the major thing for adapting, one was round start, which was kind of like the biggest deal, because you kept just, to put it bluntly, me criticizing your round start was basically asking, why are you punching yourself? You kept running into the bale of buttons every single time until the end. So adapting to something that isn't working and not taking 15 games to do it, something I'd recommend looking into. Your pressure, it was working out really well. Then towards the mid game, or like the middle of the set, you were just getting jabbed for your slow overheads, and then you kind of just stopped, and it never came back into play. So your pressure was bad, and you weren't getting called out for it. Happens. And then the main thing for adapting, you didn't try to condition him in the slightest. You went for one burst bait, like, in the middle of your strings, when you knew he was mashing the entire time to punish your command normals. Yeah, that was probably the biggest thing I saw. One thing I do want to talk about that I really didn't see implemented in your game plan that much was using Squiggly, because you run Cremation. Unless I'm crazy. You were running Cremation and you never once did like a high-low setup, which is just terrifying to deal with. That's actually a coin flip unless they're mashing. And even then, you can just call Squiggly and not press a button. That's a really big tool to have missing from your game plan. And so I try and think about ways you can implement routing towards mix that uses it, and using it for your pressure and opening people up, because you almost always just use band and then pressed a button afterwards. Which, yes, it's brass, that's kind of what brass does, but when you're close enough and when you force them into the corner, you don't really need a brass. You can call Cremation and either force them to up back, and if they're up backing a lot before Cremation comes out, up forward air throw. Or force them to hold the high-low mix. That sort of deal. If you're running Cremation, you really need to make good use of it, or why aren't you just running Dragon Bite? Which is a phenomenal assist in and of itself. Cremation does different things. But yeah, there's that. There was the mix, which we talked about, the pressure, the routing. And so identifying weaknesses. Oh, the other big thing. talking about adaptability. You need to learn how to not jump, my friend. A-Train was rough for you to deal with. And I get that Parasol and Squiggly both like their air buttons, but they both like their ground buttons too. You can play that matchup grounded. And then the other thing was the shot Bayo sweep interactions. You kind of just kept on being on the losing end of it without trying to do anything different. You didn't even try to adapt, you just let it happen and say, well, I guess I die. That sort of deal. Yeah, Bike Eye can help there. Literally just not shooting can help there. Super Jump, Tear Toss helps there. All that kind of stuff deals with it better than letting it hit you for 19 games straight. But overall, not bad. I think I covered all the things I wanted to. And I probably definitely talked about a couple other things somewhere in the middle of there that I might not have recapped, but yeah, overall, not bad. Definitely have things to work on. And yeah, so this is a VoD review. Someone sent me a ton of replays, and I just watched through them, watched them. Had Dry here, but she kind of just tagged along.
These characters are not within my realm.
Yeah, that's why I was like, are you sure you want to help?
You didn't say that, you said if you want to.
But yeah, not bad. Adaptability definitely seems to be something you need to work on, and there's not much I can give you, like, advice for being more adaptable. It's really, you need to be in a mindset while playing the game and actively thinking about the game and the things that are happening. And that's just literally something you need to ingrain as habit. Similar to how you'd work on anything else in the game. If you want to work on this, you have to go into a set with that in, like, the forefront of your mind and say, I will be thinking about what they're doing this game and how to answer it, and how that adjusts as the set goes on. Because this is the major part of fighting games that takes, like, mental awareness. Because you can just autopilot and go, oh shit, I'm getting hit here. But then you keep autopiloting and keep on getting hit in the same place. And I do this. A lot of people do this. Especially if you're just having fun. But if you're actively trying to improve or be competitive, I definitely suggest going into your future sets trying to think about purely recognizing scenarios that are happening often, if they're going your way or not. If they're going your way, what can your opponent change to make them not do that, and then how you might answer that. And so the two examples I'll give here that we already talked about in detail, so I'm not going to drill it home, but the two things we talked about, the standing command normals, you getting mashed on, and the all shot arm, or yeah, sweep stuff. Those are two examples of, I don't want to call them rock paper scissors interactions, but things that they're doing to answer you, and things you can adjust to then answer them, and then it kind of just goes in a circle of what the correct response is. Yeah, that's kind of it. It was very rambly at the end. I hope that all made sense. I kind of do that. I'm sorry.